all the JavaScript injections that we've done so far, we used to inject them like this. So we used to actually inject them in the HTML code, and we used to have to put the script, alert, XSS, script, or put anything in here depending on the cheat sheet that I shared with you. Now, I've said earlier with SQL injections, the payload or the exploit can vary from website to website depending on the way the website is programmed or the page is programmed. And XSS is the same. So you need to approach the websites and think about it in a general idea and try to exploit it depending on the page itself, and don't always just copy and paste the exploits or the payloads. And to do that, I'm just going to show you another example today. And we're going to do it in Matilde, and we're going to go to the injection, and I'm going to go to the JavaScript injection and to the password generator. Now what this page does, basically, you click on the generate, and it just generates a random password. So there are a lot of websites on the internet that just do that for you. Looking at this, at the website, it's telling us that this password is for anonymous. And looking at the URL, we can see that it's given a username, and the username is given in the URL, in the username parameter, and it's given as anonymous. So we can just change that name to any name we want. So for example, if we change that to Zaid, it's telling us that this password is being generated for Zaid, and if we generate, it's going to be generated. Now note that whatever you write in here is being displayed here, and this should instantly tell you that maybe this could be vulnerable to an XSS vulnerability because whatever you're typing is being displayed. So let's try and use the same exploit that we always use and try to get it injected in the code, in the page. Now, as you can see, the exploit didn't run, so we didn't actually get a pop-up box telling us that there is an XSS in the page, but something went wrong. As you can see now, some of the code is being thrown at the page. This shouldn't be shown in here. You've seen in the basic case, when you just put a normal name, you don't actually see this code. So that means something is happening, something's going wrong in this page. So let's try to inspect the element. And I'm just going to make this bigger. Now what I want to focus on is the part of the code that's being thrown in here on the screen. So I'm going to right click it and again inspect the element just so that we get navigated automatically to where that is in the code. And I'm going to go down. And you can see that this part of the code is being broken. We usually add the script tags ourselves when we try to inject, like you see in here. But what's happening in this page, it's automatically trying to put what we input, our user input, inside two script tags, this one and this one. So first of all, we know that we don't need these because they're already there. Also note that our code is being injected here. So this is my code, script alert XSS. This is what I entered for the username. And you can see that this is being placed inside a single quotation. So in order to exit this quotation mark, I'm going to add one in my exploit. Okay, so that's going to close this for me. And then I remove the script, so it's going to become alert XSS, which looks really good. And then we have the end of the script here. So let's have a look again on the code. So you have the first line, it's saying document.get element by ID. Now, I actually don't know how to program in JavaScript, so you don't need to be a JavaScript programmer, but you just need to have like a general idea on how this is going to work. So we can see that this is the first line of the code, and it's saying this inner HTML is equal to this password is, and whatever we input between the two quotes. So what we did, we closed this, and then the next line is going to become our alert XSS. So in JavaScript, to end one line, you actually have to add a semicolon. So we're going to close and add a semicolon in here in our exploit. And what this will do, it will close the quote here, and it will execute this as another line, as the next line. And I'll add a semicolon here at the end, just in case. And I'm going to copy this. I'm going to inject it, and I'll show you what the code looks like after we inject it. It will become even clearer. So I'm going to inject it here. Now, as you can see, there's nothing, but if we click on the generate, now looks like there's something still wrong, so we still didn't really inject it properly. Let's have a look on the code again. So again, right click, inspect element, and we're gonna go down to where the code for the user, right here. And this is what our code looks like now. So it's saying try document.getElement by ID, and this is telling this is equal to this password is 4. We close that, so that's really good. We added a semicolon, perfect. And then we said alert XSS, very good, semicolon, perfect. But then we have this single quote and this semicolon, and these are coming from the original code. So these are used to close this statement originally. So they're actually being hard-coded or inserted by the code in the web page. So all we have to do is do like what we used to do with the SQL injections, and just add a comment here to comment everything that comes after this so that it doesn't break our code. So again, I'm going to copy this, paste it in here. And as you can see now, our code runs, and we managed to run JavaScript code on the target website. Now you can share this link with any JavaScript code you want, and that will be executed on the target person, on the person that runs this link. So you can go ahead and look up any types of codes for JavaScript, or you can use Beef like I'm going to show you in the next lectures. So the take-home message from this lecture is the way you exploit vulnerabilities, not only XSS or SQL injections, any vulnerability is going to vary from website to website. So you have to always think about it. Maybe look at the source code, look at how the data is being transmitted between the websites, and try to adapt your exploit to that specific web page.